Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Enlighten Up podcast. How is everyone doing this evening? I hope you're all very well. As you can see, I am joined by a very good friend of mine and a returning guest that many of you have booked sessions with. And if you haven't, I highly suggest you do. Consuelo Cassotti, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole. How you doing? Everything's fine?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Nice to be here again with you. I really enjoy it every time.
Oh, it's good to have you here. And we're going to have a really fun show tonight because we're going to talk a lot about implants, mostly etheric, but we'll get into the physical as well. And one of the reasons why this is a topic that I'm bringing you on the show to talk about is because you've been, over the last few months, maybe even the last 6 months longer, you've had quite a few clients coming in and you've been finding a lot of etheric implants and being shown how to remove them.
Yes, indeed. It's happened at a different time. Yes. And so we can talk more about it. In fact, let me start first of all to say, starting with say that from Lemurian and Atlantis, extraterrestrials are essential factor in our planet. They shape our planet history, and they always interact with humans and in a positive way and negative way, so in both ways. And so this is important that people start to realize that it's happening. It's real. It's not happened just few years ago, but always happened. We saw us in paintings, in hieroglyphs, in murals. And many times they picture about something in the sky and in many things. So we know that it's kind of more real. And when we encounter with enlightened species, sometimes they're sharing knowledge with us and they want to understand our real truth. And sometimes when we do not enlighten species, let me call them this way, I will try to be nice. And so what they do, they become abusive. They have abusive action. They're abducting people. They put implants, okay? So, and this is important that people understand. And I'm going to also explain how you can say no to this. It's not too hard, but I'm going to explain more at the end. So what's happening is a lot of time implants or abduction happening during the night, okay, during our sleeping time. It's happened because we don't understand how to move in the astral plane. So what's happening is they can easily go through the astral plane, arrive in our reality, and do what they want to do on us, okay? And I'm talking for both benevolent or not beings, okay? And so people ended up with having maybe some memory, barely memory, and about something happened to them. Losing time is very common. About a lot of people don't remember time frame or they driving. I remember Dolores Cannon is one of my teachers. She talked in many of her books about people driving home, and instead of spending only 10 minutes, they found themselves an hour after arriving in front of a garage, and they cannot figure out what's happened between the office and home. So there are many, many ways how they show up and they interact with people, with humans, sorry. So sometimes they are very benevolent. Sometimes they show up in the way that we can see them. So, and under hypnosis, some people start to remember more the abduction. Sometimes a very nice abduction, and they told them, we are testing some humans to see how they react to knowing us, because it's time for the human knows about us. So we are taking steps to see how different people react to the idea that we can be here in this reality. So sometimes they do just for this purpose, and sometimes they want to help the person. Other time they do something not very nice. They use people for reproduction. They take in some sample. They put implants. So how it happened, and also, so this is very important. Implants. What is interesting is that they are removed from body, from people. They are analyzed, and they notice that a lot of these implants are made with material that doesn't belong to the periodic table of Earth. So the material that are made is impossible to explain. So they don't exist in this reality. And some of these abductions were done with positive intention again, and some with a not very positive intention. Some implants, I believe that they are made, are put in beings, us, for as a way to find us, for tracing us. So I have feeling that sometimes also some positive beings, they want to find us easier. So having, it's like a microchip. Having this stuff inside our body, they can finally find us and do what we need to do, or taking us with them and be part of some group or some project. So if we don't do only outside, keeping our body in our bed and going astral planet, we can also be taken physically in some places without our memory, our remembering. So we have in different way. But what is important is that we start to understand more what are these implants, okay?
Yeah.
So there is
Oh,
one,
I want
yes,
to just really quickly first. I think your microphone fell out of wherever you had it.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it. So
Yeah.
there is a,
Wait,
yes,
before we go on. So what you're saying is this idea of these etheric implants, which are energetic implants, correct?
yes,
And so like they're
mhm,
not something that you would be able to pull out of your physical body, like in this dimension and actually see, but this idea of them tracking you to perhaps keep you safe,
yes,
I think is one of the reasons. Now, this came up in my session with you about a month ago, not
hmm,
so much with etheric implants, but that I've got a couple of Arcturians who are basically watching over me consistently and
yes.
to just monitor me as I do my work in the dream state and in through my meditations. Is sometimes, would you say that these etheric implants are sometimes used when people maybe are not at a level of awareness yet that they're going to be attaining in the future through their own work, and that these implants are, because I would think that if you're more connected, that you wouldn't need the etheric implant to be tracked so much.
Um, I'm really not sure about this, because what I'm feeling is sometimes there are many, many humans want to work with this group of beings. So imagine how many of us they want to work with them. So I have a feeling that sometime to be tracking with all of us, they are not God. So they need to have a program or something that help them to find us as soon as possible without, having so much fuss. So this could be also an easy way to find us sometime when we want to work on a certain team. So I have a feeling that, tell you the truth, in my ankle, on my left ankle, for many years, every time I'm going back and forth from airport, from Italy, Europe, here, every time I go to scan, and some scan are more sensitive, sometimes are less, but how many times they told me that I have something in my ankle, the left ankle. And at the beginning, they say, oh, because you have a pants, your pants, maybe they create a little, so they're not straight down. And so at the beginning, I thought, yeah, maybe because of this. But last time in September, when I went to Europe, I have a shorts and the same problem. And I have no socks, so I have just my skin. And I thought, okay, this is something. So, and when I ask, they say, yes, don't worry, it's nothing wrong. It's just something that you have, so we can find you easily. So I believe it's also sometimes is an easy way to connect with us without, in a fast way. I believe it is really about sometimes time and nothing else. So it's just to be easy way to do it. So I didn't feel that is something. I don't know. I don't know if it's physical. Tell you the truth, but I can tell you it rings. Sometimes when I go through scan, and they're like, okay, sooner or later I'm gonna do some X-ray to figure it out. And the interesting part is every time I was going to Europe and in Italy, I have a better price for do X-rays. I would pay only $70. So I don't remember. So what is interesting is when you have implants, it doesn't matter what kind of implants you have, you notice for a second, and a moment after, looks like your program don't remember that you have it. It's like it's about second. Now I'm talking to you today, but I'm sure that when I'm gonna go in Europe, I will not remember. I have this feeling because it's happened so many times. And I have a friend of mine, she have the same situation. One day she say she went to the restroom and she really released some stuff. And when she looked at it, it was weird, like a round black ball, little. But and she looked and she said, "Oh, these are implants." Immediately she thought, "These are implants." And and when she saw this, she flushed it. And she saw, and I saw my hands flush it, and I thought, why did I do it? So what I'm saying is, I believe we are programmed to don't pay attention. Make sense what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what they are. We are programmed to pay attention so they can do the work. They can work for
Yeah.
us without maybe scaring us, or I don't know really. But to me, what I'm asked, and every time I heard that is these are fine. So I saw some people having implants. I'm talking about the good implants that, in a way, you as a soul will to have it from the beings that are part of your group. Like if you are for another planet and you come over and you have experience as a human, they ask you before you decide to be born in this body, or who knows, maybe in other bodies, many other lifetime in this planet, they ask you if they can monitor through you this planet. They can see through your life what is going on here. So I believe that sometimes we choose to be kind of the antenna for them so they can have some information. So we collect information as of that group. So I think this is also part of where we can educate it or helping other group to understand better what is happening here. So and this is ask us. So we say yes. It's a free will about it. We say yes. We allow them to do it. Okay. In fact, when I work on people, I always ask to take off the implants for the highest good that they don't need anymore. They don't deserve to be in the body anymore. So I never took off implants without asking first the permission and second to say what is right for the person, okay? Because for your greatest good, maybe you need to keep something implants inside of you, etheric or physical. I believe that you need to have it, okay? And it's okay. I don't want to interfere with this because it's not right. But in 2013, Dr. Roger K. Lair, that is an expert about implant removal, have his incredible disclosure about it, and he explained with physical pictures and many, many cases about how many times people have implants. So what is interesting is
So he's referring to actual
yes,
physical
yes,
implants that he's found in the
yes,
body as a
yes,
surgeon. Okay.
exactly. And it's very interesting to see that it describes that people have no rejection, they have no inflammation, they have no problem. But the interesting, what I noticed that they have in common, also when I work with my clients and they have some implants that are not very benevolent, and it's really about changing mood. When they have these implants, and it's the same, people when we took off the implants, they notice that they're not less moody and more full themselves, complete themselves. It's interesting. So
Oh, so it's kind of like I would use the analogy of well, when I was on birth control and when I
Hmm.
first started using it, because I didn't really stay on it very long, just because of the fact that the hormones would make me so moody and I felt like I had no control over my own emotions. And so it's kind of like it sounds like that's the similar feeling here with the implants.
Yes, in certain way it is. And my first case was very, I was not looking for. It's the reason why I was pretty, not shocked, but kind of, it took me a while to integrate the information. The first case that I had was very, very interesting because it was a client of mine. She asked me to do the session on her mother, and it was a remote session. And the mother was asleep at night, so she didn't know. I asked the sole permission, so I did the session. And after, the middle of my session was trying to finish. So I thought, oh, look at you. I saw this beautiful round tube of white light coming down, and I thought was refreshing, clearing, recharging. Close to the end of the session, I thought was pretty cool. So I started to describe it. And as soon as I saw this light coming down to the person was, laid down, and the way that I see the person is laid down, the table, I saw three beings. And I was pretty shocked because I didn't expect them. They didn't introduce themselves. Nobody told me anything. And they look like a gray, like gray skin, a big head, big black eyes, very pointed. This part was very pointed, very tall, and they didn't pay attention to me. It was like they looked at me like whatever, human. Like the attitude was not very, very warm, very friendly. And so I asked my higher, my higher self and my other being say, don't worry, let them do the job. And finally I ask, what is about? And they say, we come here because your session connect to the higher self of a person, and it was part of the deal that if she had done a session like yours, we need to come and take the implants off of this person. And I was pretty shocked, like, seriously? And so, but really, the way they talk very cold, very no, they didn't look at me. They talk and they use the body to cover what they are doing, so I cannot see them. Really, it was like I cannot. I moved my head a little. I tried nothing. It was impossible. They move in the body the way that I cannot see it, and I didn't feel the desire to go close to them because really I felt like no, thank you. And of course, the way that I see, by the way, people is not the physical reality. It's more like a etheric. I see like a it's like a ghost kind of feeling, okay? And so they do the job, and I ask, okay, what's happened if you have not taken these implants from this lady? And they say nothing. She will survive. It's just about changing her mood and be very controlling person, but everything else she will survive. No big deal. So like they didn't care much to leave it or take it. So they took these implants out. I believe a couple of them. I'm not sure where. They didn't say to me. And so, they say, I asked why you have her with implants because, to my knowledge, she was a retired person. She was a grandma, nothing fancy. So I thought, why she have implants? And they say to me that we need to control the environment where she was working before. She wasn't important, but she was working for certain people, so her position was strategic for us. And I thought, okay, I have no clue what we're talking about. So they finished everything and they left. So I wrapped my session, and the day after, I talked to the daughter because I was kind of, okay, I don't know what to say to her because I recorded my session, and so I was kind of wondering how she will react. So I want to tell her before she listens the session. And I say, what kind of job did your mother do before she retired? She said, oh, we are Russian people. She was working as a secretary for a high level of government, and she was in the same building where Gorbachev was there. And I thought, oops, okay, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, I thought, oh. So I imagine that through this woman, they were able to monitor some information, some documents. I have no idea. But for sure, it was not her but the position was a key position for them.
Yes, okay, I understand now. So, whatever she was able to see, they were able to connect with through her or pick up energetically around her.
Mhm.
Okay.
So another important thing is when we finish the session, and she had some pulmonary problem for a week or so. So she, to the point that she was taken to the hospital for a couple of days because she was old and they were afraid of that she was having worsen. She was getting worsen, and so and I saw another case when the second time happened to me. This another person had some lungs problem. So I started to harmonize after they do the job. So this is telling you how much they don't care much about us because like, oh, she will survive. Would be nice if they told me harmonize, do something before, after we leave it. No, they don't say a word. They just left like, you know, like we do with cow. I'm sorry, but pig and cow, we do the same. I'm sorry. So maybe we deserve it in certain way. Sorry, I'm vegetarian, so guys, okay? So, but what I'm saying is after I learned to harmonize, not just to hold the space, but when we leave, I harmonize the session because I realize that they don't do much. So yes, both my clients that have this situation, they survived, but next time I thought I'm gonna do it because I don't want anybody to have any problem. So, but it was interesting. In fact, the second,
So
yeah,
wait, so you said your client, she had like lung issues
mm-hmm,
after the
yeah,
etheric. So I would assume like them, one of them must have been somewhere close to the respiratory system.
is what I thought. Heart or
Yeah.
respiratory, yes, I
Yeah.
thought because they are connected. I have no idea, but for sure she has some problem. So my second case, a couple of weeks after, when you go through time where you do the same, you attract in the same situation more than one time. So until you learn from, so it's happened to me too. So I have a second client. This guy is Italian, and his daughter again is an old guy. She asked me to work on her father. And again, it was not on my phone with me, on in Zoom, but he was sleeping. And so I record the session. And again, I saw again this light say, oh my gosh. I said to say, again, guys, what is about?
Oh no.
So they come again and they start to work on him again and say, come on, this is impossible. This is a regular white collar guy, nothing fast. I know him for many years because I know his daughter. So come on, don't tell me there's something about him. My spirit guides, because they didn't care, explain me too much. My spirit guide explained to me that this guy in ancient time, probably in Greek, ancient Greek, he was an important politician and also a philosopher. So they put implants on him on that lifetime. So I was so shocked because I realized that implants memory can stay inside of you on your soul from many lifetimes.
No way.
Yeah. And we was like, oh my God, really? I said, yes. So finally, because of my session, we were able.
That's a lot of lifetimes to be
I
tracked
know,
through.
I know.
Ancient
And
Greece?
yeah. And I was shocked. I thought, are you kidding me? They said, yes. So if nobody take these implants from you and you don't ask, it never happened. So you keep the memory. It's not just because it's not the physical but the etheric. So they still with you. And of course they're not so strong anymore, but they don't hurt much. So I was wondering about this guy, if how much moody or much controlling could be in so many lifetime, because it was interesting, he kind of old and he had the same problem, lungs problem again for a week. So it's after the second case that I learned, okay, you need to harmonize. Doesn't matter if you know where or how. And so I started to do this. But it was very interesting to learn that also from lifetime and lifetime, we can have the memory implants inside us. So this was pretty interesting. So
Okay,
yes.
so I just started asking
Hmm.
internally, like, why the lungs? Like, what is it? And then I just got a download that it's because where all the DMT is produced. Like in our breath, we produce the most DMT through our breath.
Okay.
So perhaps that has something to do with it.
Could be. I'm gonna ask this about DNT. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna ask because I thought was just about my feeling was when you take out something from the etheric body and the electric body, of course you have a shock, you have a reaction. Lungs and heart are more connected to, I believe it is kind of the motor of everything. So I felt that this is the reason why the people have a lung disease, but it's much better with heart disease because lungs you can recover easily. With heart, I'm sorry, it would be tougher. So, and I think that this is the body reaction, etheric and electric body, they react in this way to harmonize what they are missing. Because imagine, in particular, for many lifetime, you have the same whatever it was, a little thing that is, in a way, the body adapt, so adjust and find the balance. When you take off without, because really what I learned from when I was little, every time you take off something, you need to full with something else. So it's better to send good energy, okay? Because every time you create a hole, you leave, as in nature, a spider create a web, somebody put a nest. So the holes always welcome something to come in. So it's better if you choose to put something good, okay? So when we take off the implants, because I didn't know that I need to fill in because it was my first time, probably the etheric body, the electric body, if I have enough time to fill in something. And so this is my explanation, but I like also yours, so I'm gonna look for this information.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah.
It's interesting, because who so did you ever see any of these implants? Like, did you ever get a chance to see any of them?
Not from them because they didn't allow me to see it, but with the benevolent beings, yes, I saw some of them. And some were like a plate. I remember the Marines, the military from, the military plate with a name and a number, So this kind of sometimes they look like a little cylinder, very little cylinder, and other time uh, triangle shape. So they have mostly some kind of geometrical shape, and so um, rarely they look like a ball, but most of the time they are kind of flat and they have this kind of geometry shape. Okay, and what is interesting is also um, beside the beings that you choose to be connect, so and you are okay to be part of this. I also find out some people can create their own implants, if you like to call, you know, um, kind of sabotaging implants. So I have one case that it was very, very interesting. Years ago, this teenager came to me different time. The mom sent him, of course, and uh, and one day he arrived kind of in tears, very upset, and I asked him what is going on. He said, I'm so upset with myself because this is my last year before the college and my grades are very low because doesn't matter what I read, I try to study, I cannot retain information. If you ask me what I have for breakfast, I can barely remember. And he was very shocked and kind of depressed. And say, I don't understand why this happened to me. So we did a session, and I found here a big, big plate, like an etheric plate here, like a metallic. And they say that he chose to have this plate, like here, to sabotage himself. In a previous life, he was a genius. He was a scientist, a genius. And because of some experiment he made, he killed some people. And so he asked to be born again, but if he try to become smarter or use his brain more, he asked to be blocked. So is the reason,
Wow.
yes. So I thought, okay. So it was part of this contract. So they call implants. So they call the same name. And so I thought, okay. So we start to take away. I ask his beings, I ask them because his higher self helping to create. So I call his higher self, his subconscious mind and everything to be part and his beings. And we clear. They left one part because they say that it would be too much the reaction if we'll take everything. So he need to still have some kind of vibration of the same level, but it would be less and less. And he felt a different person immediately after the session. Big headache for a couple of days, and he started to improve his grade, and he graduated nice, and he was so happy because he started to be normal. He said, I don't want to be a genius, I don't care, but I want to finish my school nice, and I don't want to feel retarded, because it felt like something was wrong with his brain. So the last time I saw him, he was so happy with a big smile, and I was so happy for him because he decided to go to college and start to do more because he was able to do more. And so the fact that he become more conscious, and the fact that he agreed to clear this, he have a big effort in his life. So this is also important for people to
Wow.
understand.
Wow.
Yeah, this
Ugh.
was pretty strong. Thi-
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yes, I know. So this is telling you, and the funny part, until he reached that point, I was not able to see this. So it seems to me that it creates so much layers and layers to cover this. We are fantastic. We are incredible. You know how powerful we are in a good and a bad way. You know, we can do incredible things. I was not able to see it, but as soon as I start to say enough of this, I cannot do with this anymore. You know.
Okay, so it's like he made a declaration
Hmm.
that cleared whatever contract he had in place to make it invisible to you.
Exactly. Now you
Wow.
understand.
See,
So.
this is important. This
Mhm.
people need to really understand the power of your own voice, your choice, your words,
Exactly.
everything. Like when you say something with conviction, it
Exactly.
carries a lot of weight and power, especially
Exactly.
even like when we talk about spell casting, or
Yes.
and when I say spell casting, I mean in the white
Yeah.
magic kind of sense. But there's so this is why our beliefs are so important to our own frequency and what we're able to create, because if you don't really believe it, or you don't feel that conviction inside, you don't carry the same power behind it.
I agree. In fact, I'm telling you, I asked different time, because I heard so many people be abducted or be used for making children in other planets, hybrid. And I asked myself if I have done this because I didn't feel it, but I asked. And my spirit guide told me no, because you are protect. You are very protect because you have a different purpose in this lifetime. And plus, you say no, thank you. You step on this and say, I don't want to be part of this. I asked to be part of this, and I say it. And they say, keep say it. But enough. This is not what I wanted. It's not part of what I wanted. I don't want to be part of this project. I have something else to do, but it's more important for me to do. So I skip this. I pass. Thank you. Okay. I think it's very important when a person feels that this happened to her or him, they start to say, I have a power to say no. I have a free will. I call my subconscious mind, super mind, my higher self, and I want to set this straight. Enough is enough for myself, for my children, for the future generation in my family. Enough is enough. I think it's important for people to recognize that they have the power to choose.
I agree. I agree. And this is a little bit off topic, but for everyone who's listening, and Consuelo has given me permission to disclose this.
Yes.
Consuelo was the person who helped me, when I had to kind of look into after taking the vaccine. She was the one who we were connecting to the spike protein consciousness together, and it's what when I think back to that moment when I was in my car before going in to receive the jab, I was very firm in what I was choosing, in a sense of I was like, body, we are not going to be overtaken by this. We are in full control. What we say says go. So whatever we want to be held frequency wise, the vaccine has to accommodate itself to enter if it is going to, or it dissolves and is gone. And so when you checked my field, you said you were really shocked because you could only find one, which has never
Yes.
happened before.
I agree. Yes, I was very happy about it because it seems that you managed in the way that raise up your energy, didn't allow anything else to stay in your body beside the one, but he was really willing to communicate with you, pretty cold kind of way, but you're like, okay. But, and it was also interesting when he said, I remember when he said, I'm here to learn and observe and understand humans. I thought, holy cow, where we are now. For a moment, I'm like, okay, but it's really what they're doing. So it was pretty true, and the fact that you have only one and he was willing to learn and understand, I thought was interesting. It was an interesting experience. So,
Yeah, and he was smiling at you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's a little bit unnerving, I think.
Yeah, I know. I felt myself like, okay. So yes, I know.
um,
But by the way, when I work in some people that have the COVID lately, it doesn't matter where, Australia, Italy, here, Canada, and now I notice that this spike, I look like a baby spike where they have not the same power. It's like they are less and less powerful. They are
Well,
so much,
that's
yes.
good
Uh,
because
mhm,
well, they say when a virus keeps evolving, it loses its power.
mhm.
So that's a
Compl-
really great thing that
Yeah.
we're seeing that.
Yeah, they look smaller and very, kind of not so consistent, and less metallic, by the way. Thank God, because one of the first were so metallic, so nanobites. Like they look like a nano science kind of something engineered. So it was very not very good. This seems a little more not confused, but not so strong of what we are doing. So I kind of like this. Yeah,
I
I
like
f-
that too.
I felt better.
Yeah.
So, one other thing that I want to tell you that people maybe don't realize about implants, also the dental implants are implants. So, I'm telling you one thing, I need to have one implant, one of my two, and they forced me to have it. I didn't want it, but I didn't have many other choices.
Uh-huh.
And, and I thought, okay, let me do it. Oh my goodness. When I did, my etheric body was completely out for a week. For a week, I was challenged to put back my etheric body to be a whole person again. It was something that I never felt before. So, what I'm saying, don't take lightly also any kind of implant that you put in your body because any kind you put something metallic or metal carrying a high vibration, but also the vibration it doesn't go with you. So prepare yourself. I did it a little, but I didn't realize how much energetically was affecting me. I thought just the physical part. In fact, I took arnica, I took care of myself, but I didn't realize that it was also something energetically. And so it took me a full week to clear everything and to be back again to the same high vibration without feeling not fully myself. I just say it. So the people pay attention a little more when we do this stuff
Oh,
because,
interesting. Okay.
yes, we take
So
for
yeah,
granted.
I mean I have the amalgam fillings, like from
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid. I had like crazy I was a sugar fiend when I was a kid. Like and I also hated brushing my teeth. Like it was this like I would try not to cuz I just hated it. I don't know why I hated it so much. But I don't know, maybe I was just a lazy kid. But and there was a couple years where I just ate so much candy and so I ended up getting like 13 fillings and like one like I got a ton like some it was like I was 6 or 7 years old when I got them and I have never had them removed and I've been wanting to get them removed but obviously I want to find the right
Mm-hmm.
dentist who knows how to remove them safely but
I know.
yeah you saying that just makes me
Yes, it's
think
okay. But the good is the body balance and we have a smart body. And so when we have a smart body, you know that you can count on your body to figure it out and you can also clear energetically. So it's gonna be fine. I just say because I didn't think about it. Truly, I'm still human, so you see I'm still learning. And I didn't think about energetically how much one dental implant was doing so much of me. And I thought, okay, thank you. Never again if I can. Really, I was going to do my best to do everything else, but not them. So, but yes, so it's
Yeah,
important.
okay. One of the things that I also want to mention here that has it's relevant to what we're talking about to some degree. But when you were talking about how when you first saw the first the
Mm-hmm.
white light come down and the three kind
Mm-hmm.
of gray being like working on this woman to remove the implant, that you didn't know that you needed to harmonize the body after.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yes.
took you another time to really realize what needed to be done. I
Yes.
just want everyone in the audience to understand that and to let that really percolate within you for anyone out there who is, wanting to do actually, to be quite honest, to do anything that is requiring you to step into a place of the unknown, okay, where you're challenging yourself to learn something new, but you're wanting to put yourself out there. Maybe it's like, let's just say you're an intuitive and you want to start charging clients. You want to start building your own business where you do readings for clients or whatever it might be. And you're not completely confident yet in your skills because, of course, we're constantly judging ourselves against everyone else.
Of course.
It's so important to remember, guys, and this goes for anything that you want to do where you're kind of stepping into something new, is that you're going to learn more through doing it. You will never learn it all or be at a level that you think you need to be in order to start. You just have to start and know that you are human and you are meant to come across certain things through the process. And part of that requires you to have enough confidence in yourself, okay, to say yes.
Exactly.
To say yes, you have to be willing to say yes to yourself in order for someone else to say yes to you, you know? And
I
so I think that's
yeah.
important for people to understand.
Yes, and one of the things that is important also, every time I have reason to take off implants, I ask the beings who put the implants to come over and take it off. Okay, I didn't do it because I want to be sure that the same people they know how they did it, they can take off. So first, because they are responsible to do it, and second, because they know energetically in many levels. So they are connected to the soul as a contract with the soul with my clients. So they are coming, they taking, the responsibility to do it. I can help, but they're the one doing it. Okay. And most of the time the benevolent one, they explain to me why. And sometimes they come as a group, they're very nice. They explain to the clients what kind of situation they were or where they come from or why they're together. So it's very nice. And they show me the implants. Sometimes they say, we can take off if you like, but all if you like. You can keep it because it's going to be okay. So they have this kind of information. So it's very, very pleasant. Okay. And again, a lot of people, I do a lot of session and not many I notice implants unless people, the clients ask me, can you check my implants? And I don't do just because if it doesn't show up to me as a priority, I don't do it. Anything else? It's not because I don't want it. It just to me it means that it's not a priority. But I can tell you, um, few months ago, I was doing my QHHT session, that is the Dolores Cannon type, very long session, and under hypnosis, the girl, she remembered from the age of 3 years old, and until now, adopted by aliens, and she have also good aliens try to fight the bad aliens, and it was interesting because she have somebody supporting her, somebody take advantage of her, and again, we talk about this because she was ready to do it. She was ready to explore this part. But otherwise, she will never see it because if she was not ready, I don't think I can do anything. Make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think, so you're probably going to get an influx of people requesting implant
Oh,
checkups.
could be. Could be, could be. Yes. After tonight, I think so. Yes. Yes.
But I mean, truly, there's people who I've had sessions with clients of mine, and I know that this is something they're like, I just, I can't think properly, or it's constantly foggy, or like I don't remember things easily. What's wrong with me? And so this could definitely, if any of you
Yes.
out there who are experiencing this may be something you want to look into.
Exactly. Yes. Why not? It could be a possibility because we do sometimes. I'm pretty sure that all of us we have a certain occasion for sure. If we are healers and we work, yes, for sure we have some occasion in many way. Yes, but it's very important. I don't know how much time do we still have it.
No, we
Uh,
still have time. Go ahead.
okay, because I want to say before we are leaving what I want the people say. As a Okay, and this is my lovely English, okay, people, be nice. Uh, what I know for sure is that you need to say enough, say it, and appeal to your free will to clear yourself from any implants that aren't good for your higher self. And just say, I want to be free of this forever. Okay. And you can ask also for your children because your children are your responsibility. So if you feel that for any reason your children are part of this, so you can ask from them until they are teenager, they are 15, 16, as a father, as a mother responsible, that they can be free of everything like this forever and ever and ever. So I think it's important to say this uh, because we are really part of this and we need to realize that it's important. And one thing that I notice about the physical implants, not always, but I asked one time, and my spirit guide told me that a lot of time, the not very enlightened beings choose people with certain family trouble, like people with family with addictions, alcohol addiction, drug addiction. So they can adopt these children or this family, and nobody's gonna believe them. So what I hear is
Wait,
that
what do you wait? Repeat that again. So
sorry, sometimes these not enlightened beings when want to
okay.
adopt some families, some children,
Oh,
some
they want to
people,
abduct them.
yes.
Oh, okay.
So they do, sorry about my English, they do with family, they have some history of addiction, drugs problem, alcohol problem, because they are not consider that whatever they say, nobody's gonna believe them.
Got you. Okay, okay.
So
Oh, wow.
I didn't do any statistic, but it would be nice to know if people they talk about adoption, where they come from as a family history. So because I have a feeling, because I have 2 or 3 clients that have parents with alcohol addiction, or drug addiction, and they were adopted. So I wonder how much also they choose certain family, certain people. Imagine, I just put just to make fun of this, but a millionaire that they took a millionaire in their spaceship and they do stuff to him and it's coming back. It will be such a problem because that person will start to do something, okay? But if I do with somebody that nice people, but nobody pay attention to them, or when they open their mouths because don't pay attention. He have a drug or something. So how you can figure it out? Sorry about my phone. Um, so you know what I'm saying? So they told me that a lot of time they not enlightened beings prefer this kind of people when we want to do something to them.
Oh, wow. Okay, well that makes I mean that makes a lot of sense. It just
Yes.
there's clearly a lot of thought put into who they're going to work
Yes,
on.
doesn't mean that the other people are safe, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is makes sense in the fact that they create less trouble.
Okay. So they're like kind of easier targets is what you're saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
is what I
Yeah.
notice. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not sure if maybe some people gonna say yes or no, but I think this is what I learned from what I saw, and so it's happened in this way.
Wow. And so, did you ever have an experience where you saw an implant with a client that was aiding them in a really beneficial way and you kept it in there?
Yes, yes, a lot of them. I tell you the truth. Um, Normally is why it's the way I found out I have implants because I saw beans coming and they say this person have an implants, and most of the time is on the head, here in the back of the head or in front. And they say the implants is about monitoring the life and have some information. And one time, I remember they called the person a scout, very scout. Like, in a pioneer time, they send the scout first so he can monitor the area and understand better. So they call this person the scout for them. So they're sending them in this planet in human form so they can understand better the planet. And I'm not sure if it's, remember we talk about Earth School? In certain ways, they're doing Earth School, they're using somebody in human body and learning from that person to see how it is to be human. Or,
Yeah, like a surrogate.
yes, is what I felt. And so, and many times they say the person is okay about this, and the person give us, give a permission to do it. And before we finish, every time they ask, if a person doesn't want anymore, we are willing to take off. Sometimes the person say, yes, please take off. Most of the time the person say, I'm okay to keep it. And they start to communicate with these beings in their meditation or when they go to sleep. So they ask them to know more. And so it's interesting because it looks like sometimes they start a new connection, they start to remember more. And I'm not surprised because some of these clients, they have a memory of something like, oh, I saw something, one night, or I dream about them. So it's sometimes, a lot of time it's familiar to them. When I start to describe these beings, or I start to describe a life they have with them, because they say, oh, you're part of our tribe, or you're part of our group. You have this kind of lifetime with us. And after you decide to move here. So they explain a lot of stuff. And it's interesting because the clients a lot of time have some kind of flashback, and so it's pretty cool to see this. Tell you the truth.
Oh, wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
this has kind of been something that has really expanded your own practice too, because you
Yes.
didn't know you were going to be doing this when you started, right?
No, no idea. No idea. No
Yeah.
idea.
And
So
it's something, and this is how I think a lot of it happens, is that sometimes you're put in situations that you don't even plan for, and then it's like, well, what are you going to do? And somehow your higher self kicks in, and you just have to follow your internal guidance and gut. And usually it was just your first instinct, and like you said, you were like, oh, they need to remove it, not me.
yes.
And I think that's important because this happens a lot with anyone who's intuitive, I believe. It's happened to me as well, where I have a client and all of a sudden they're asking me to do something, or I see something and I'm like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this, or I didn't know. And I just have to follow whatever the guidance is, and trust in that moment that it's the right one at the time. Because, there is no school that we can go to for this. It's all memory recall, really allowing it to come through.
I agree. In fact, when somebody asks, "Can you do this?" I never say no. Not because I know everything, because I don't know anything, but it's about let me see what I can do for you. And when we open the session, sometimes I'm surprised because the information that they give it to us in sometimes some session, like, oh my gosh, it's like I have so many information for some history that they are not written in a book. You cannot find in a book. And the people have this lifetime where they say stuff. I remember one time I have a woman that the author in the ancient time in Egypt, she was one of the chosen one because she was very psychic, and one of his author female was treated as a goddess. She chose her as a student, and I didn't know that they're doing this. I have no clue about it, so I didn't know that they have a school for certain humans. They have particular skills, so it's like learning every time some pieces that you don't read in a book. So isn't why I know, but it's not my mind because I don't have this information. I have no idea. So a lot of time when I say something, how I'm talking. You say stuff like, I have no idea that this was possible, right?
Well,
So
absolutely. And I mean, it's just even like going back to like the vaccine download that I got.
Yeah,
When I got it, I was like, really?
yeah,
What? And like I had never thought about it that way. And you kind of have to be open to that. And I think because I was willing to step into my own power and I knew that this was going to be part of my path, that I was like, okay, I got to somehow find a way to like not have this affect me. And I don't think and it, you have to be open to the possibilities. And so, for anyone out there who is stepping into a role in your life in some capacity that really pushes you beyond your comfort zone, pushes you beyond what you think you're capable of, there has to be this element where you're ready to say yes. You're ready to say, I'm willing to learn. I'm not this from the ego's place. Well, I need to be secure that I already know it. You can't, it doesn't work that way. So when you say yes, so for instance, like this example that you're talking about, I think that many people, especially those who are listening to this podcast right now, are in a position where if they say yes to something, the beings now can come in and work with them and teach them more things. And it would have to do with a skill or a capability that maybe perhaps you don't feel so comfortable with yet, or you don't feel so confident with yet. But as soon as you say yes to it, now you're saying yes to being the student, and the teacher can come in and do their job.
yes, yes. And what I'm saying is always, I when I start my session, I always open. I'm never say no to something. Any business is coming to me or any situation I manage because I know that it's safe place. So create inside of you a safe place. Create something, a mantra or something that make you feel safe. So when you feel safe, you can allow everything around you or everything's happened to you because you know that you are safe. Call your higher guides, your spirit guides, your protector angels or guardian angel. Call what you feel more comfortable. Jesus is Mary, whatever works for you. I don't have any problem. So what works for you, call them and ask to seal this protection around you. To create this bubble of protection. And when you are in that moment, you are open to receive and to see everything without fear. Everything's happened. The magic happened. Because I don't judge. Whatever comes to me in shape or form, I don't judge the color, black, white, yellow. I don't judge anymore. I let go any judgment because I allowed them to come in the way that I can see them, but also because I don't have a fear. They can work and they can tell me exactly who they are and what they're doing. Otherwise, if I start to judge, I will not be a channel. How I can be a true
Yeah.
channel?
Curiosity is the best frequency, like to like approach it with, like, oh, I'm just
Yes,
curious, I'm here to learn, like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I go by the flow. I don't have an agenda. During my session, I don't have an agenda. So I go by the flow. Whatever happens, whatever arrives, I manage. And is the reason why I'm true to the person. And this is important. Be true to yourself when you do something like this.
I agree. I agree. I think that's excellent advice. Well, this has been a really fun show. I'm so glad that we got to talk about this topic. And I know, like, so basically, I think you're gonna get you're gonna get a few requests coming your way from this show, because I know that there are people in the audience who have had questions about the topics that we spoke about tonight and what you're doing. So, for anyone in the audience, if you do feel one, like you may have some sort of etheric implant that may be, you know, hampering some of your abilities or just your day to day living, you may want to reach out to Consuelo just to have a checkup and see. And also kind of really check in too. Like if something's been really bothering you, maybe it's time to say enough, and that might be
Yes,
necessary before they book a session with you, because you
yes.
need that in order to clear some of the layers for you to see it. And then also, if any of you out there who have had COVID or you've had the vaccine and you're not sure if you were able to transmute or clear, whatever it might be, you can also, I would
Yes,
suggest Consuelo as well.
I'm willing to help, and you know that I do my best to do what is necessary. So, and the good about the fact that I record the session, they can replay again the session and go back to the same healing energy. That is also good for them too. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So there's healing every time you listen to it,
hmm
and it can strengthen and all of that. Do you have anything you'd like to leave the audience with before we go?
No, just about remember who you are. Remember, we are powerful. We are going through a powerful time, and you know that the light is gonna prevail. Let go any judgment. Remember to be neutral, more as possible, and we're gonna do it. We are too
Yeah.
many of us that want to do the best, so we are gonna do it.
Yes, and so important to really monitor where you're putting your focus, where are you allowing your energy to go to? Because that's
Exactly.
ultimately
Exactly.
what you're strengthening. So, uh, let your energy go towards the light and towards your own empowerment, your own sovereignty, your own discovery, your own learning, all of that. Well, Consuelo, it's really nice to have you on the show again. Thank you for coming
Thank
back
you.
on. It's always a pleasure having you here. And I will leave all of the information to you guys in the show notes below this video and on the podcast if you'd like to book a session with Consuelo or follow her on Instagram or Facebook. All of that information will be there. So thank you very much. And guys, have a wonderful evening. I'll be back with you next week.